found naturally on the Earth's surface. Why do we call these goods as resources? These are called resources as they are of immense importance to human beings and their development. Thus, they are considered as a resource when human beings use them. Coal is a piece of rock until people were able to invent technology to obtain it and make it a resource. Nature's bounty becomes significant only when people find it useful. Human resource is the ultimate resource. How many children are there in your school? There are 500 children in your school. How many children are there in your class? There are 24 children in your class. Other classes have different numbers of children in each class, say 30 children in class 6 and 45 children in class 5. Thus, number of children is not evenly distributed in each class. The same way people are spread across the Earth's surface. This is known as the pattern of population distribution. More than 90% of the world's population lives in about 10% of the land's surface. Do you know the total number of population in the world? By July 2011, we have had more than 6.9 billion people in the world. Can you identify the crowded areas on the map? The crowded areas are the South and Southeast Asia, Europe and Northeastern Northern America. Very few people live in high-altitude areas, tropical deserts, high mountains, and areas of equatorial forests. Almost 3/4 of the world's people live in 2 continents, Asia and Africa. 60% of the world's people stay in just 10 countries. All of them have more than 100 million people. When 24 students are present inside the classroom looks very crowded. But when 24 students go into the big playground, they look pretty small. Why do they look small? In large area in the playground, 24 students get scattered and look small. Similarly, if more people live in a smaller area, they look crowded, and the same number of population live in large area, they look scattered. This can be expressed as population density, that is, the number of people living in a unit area of the Earth's surface. The average density of population in the whole world is 45 persons per square kilometer. South Central Asia has the highest density of population, followed by East and Southeast Asia. Do you know the population density in your country? Average density of population in our country is 382 persons per square kilometer according to 2011 census. Which of these regions would you prefer to live? We all would prefer to live to the third region as it has a good climate and good soil. Thus, distribution of population depends on the physical factors such as topography, climate, soil, water, and presence of minerals. People always prefer to live on plains rather than mountains and plateaus because these areas are suitable for farming, manufacturing, and service activities. The Ganga Plains are the most densely populated areas of the world, while mountains like Andes and Himalayas are sparsely populated. People usually avoid extreme climates that are very hot or very cold, like Sahara Desert, polar regions of Russia, Canada, and Antarctica. Fertile soils provide suitable land for agriculture. Fertile plains such as Ganga in India, Huanghe, Changjiang in China, and the Nile in Egypt are densely populated. People prefer to live in the areas where fresh water is easily available. Areas with mineral deposits are also populated. Diamond mines of South Africa and discovery of oil in the Middle East led to settling of people in these areas. In modern days, some other social, cultural, and economic factors too influence the distribution of population. Areas of better housing education and health facilities are more densely populated, such as Pune in our country. Places with religion or cultural significance attract people. Varanasi, Jerusalem, and Vatican City are some examples. Industrial areas provide employment opportunities to a large number of people. Osaka in Japan and Mumbai in India are two densely populated industrial areas. Have you noticed that there is a change in number of inhabitants in your city? Similarly, the world population has increased manifold. Change in the number of people during a specific time is known as population change. What do you think is the reason for such changes? Changes in population takes place ideally due to changes in the number of births and deaths. Until 1800s, the world's population grew steadily as large number of born babies died early too. In other words, both births and deaths were high. Births are usually measured using the birth rate, that is, the number of live births per 1,000 people. Deaths are usually measured using the death rate, that is, the number of deaths per 1,000 people. Birth rate higher than death rate indicates an increasing population. Equal birth and death rate indicates a steady population. Birth rate lower than death rate indicates a decreasing population. The difference between the birth rate and the death rate of a country is called the natural growth rate. What do you think is the reason for continuous increase of population in your city? Movement of people from other areas in search of various opportunities led to increase in population in cities. Such movement of people across regions and territories is known as migration. Emigrants are people who leave a country. Immigrants are those who arrive in a country. Countries like the United States of America and Australia have gained in numbers by immigration. Sudan is an example of a country that has experienced a loss in population numbers due to outmigration or emigration. Although the world's total population is rising rapidly, not all countries are experiencing this growth. Some countries like Mali, Niger, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Angola have high population growth rates. Countries like Kenya had a very high birth rate as well as death rate. Now, with improving healthcare, death rates have fallen, but birth rates still remain high, leading to high growth rates. In other countries like United Kingdom and Japan, population growth is slowing because of both low death and low birth rates. Have a close look at the map to know the pattern of population change in the world. Grandmother tells nice stories to Jill and her brother. Jill's father constructs big structures in the city. Jill's mother treats sick children in the hospital. Jill's brother often helps his grandfather in gardening. What similarity do you see in these examples? Every human being contributes one or the other way to household as well as the society. Thus, every human being is potential resources for the society. Let us take another situation. The two countries, Bangladesh and Japan, are very densely populated, but Japan is far more economically developed than Bangladesh. What do you think is the reason for such difference? Development of a nation depends upon the qualities of the population. To understand the role of the people as a resource, we need to know more about their qualities. People vary greatly in their age, sex, literacy level, health condition, occupation, and income level. These characteristics of the people indicate the structure of population. The complete structure of the population of a country is known as population composition. In other words, population composition helps us to know number or percentage of population in each age group, number of female and male population or number of female per 1,000 male, number or percentage of literate and illiterate population, number or percentage of people belonging to each economic sector, agriculture, industry, and service. Income level of the population. Can you recognize the structure? Yes, this is one of the great pyramids in Egypt. An interesting way of studying the population composition of a country is presenting population in a pyramid, which is also called as age-sex pyramid. A population pyramid shows the total population divided into various age groups like 5 to 9 years, 10 to 14 years, etc. The percentage of the total population subdivided into males and females in each of those groups. The shape of the population pyramid describes the people living in that particular country. Can you infer how the shape of population pyramid helps us to understand the population in the particular country? The numbers of children below 15 years are shown at the bottom and reflect the level of births. The size of the top shows the number of aged people above 65 years and reflects the number of deaths. Thus, the population pyramid tells us the percentage of population under two groups of dependents: young dependents aged below 15 years and elderly dependents aged over 65 years. Only those of the working age are the economically active. Look at the population pyramid. What structure does it display? Broad base and rapidly narrowing towards the top of the pyramid display high birth rate as well as high death rate. This is because, although many children are born, a large percentage of them die in their infancy, relatively few become adults, and there are very few old people. Recalling the previous lesson, can you infer the country that depicts such type of population composition? This is the population pyramid of Kenya, which is typified by high birth as well as high death rate. In countries where death rates, especially amongst the very young, are decreasing, the pyramid is broad in the younger age groups because more infants survive adulthood. Can you name the country depicting such type of population composition? This typical structure can be seen in the population pyramid of India. Do you see any advantage of such type of population structure? Such population contains a very large number of young people, and which means a strong and expanding labor force. In countries like Japan, low birth rates make the pyramid narrow at the base. Decreased death rates allow numbers of people to reach old age. Do you believe Japan has an ideal population pyramid? Decline in future efficient workforce is not a good indication for population composition. Educated, skilled, productive, spirited, and hopeful young people endowed with a positive outlook are necessary for development of a nation.